Ladies and gentlemen, the homegoing celebration for Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. was bum-rushed by Democratic politicians, politicizing a moment that was supposed to be about remembering and uniting around the amazing life, the legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Right. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived.
I don't know about you, but I think it was pretty clear what the Jackson family was asking. Leave your politics at the door. This is about celebration of my dad, my mom's husband, our grandfather. This is not about political points. You're cheapening his memory by doing that at this time. This is not the time nor the place for your politics. I mean, English is my first language and my only language. But I think if you know English, then you could hear that and get the same impression I did from what the family statement was. But guess that doesn't apply when your name is President Barack Obama.
Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others.
Not to be outdone, there was also Reverend Al Sharpton. He hard of hearing too.
I don't care what they do in Washington. I care what we do in the community. We beat people bigger than Trump. We fought people harder than them if we stand up and be what we're supposed to be.
Even if you can barely understand what this guy is saying, he still did his best to not follow the wishes of the family.
Because at bad times like this, we're in a tough spot, folks. We got an administration that doesn't share any of the values that we have. I don't think I'm exaggerating a little bit.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's possible that while Jesse Jackson was making his remarks about not making it political, Joe Biden went to sleep. Kamala Harris was so disrespectful, she went back to the same speeches she gave during her failed election. She didn't even write new remarks.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming.
What the hell? For fun, let's throw in Maxine Waters.
Reclaiming my time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited, so pleased, so warm, so everything right now, because we're here celebrating the life of a great man. Jesse Louis Jackson Sr. was a great civil rights leader. He didn't literally just talk the talk. He walked the walk. And I want you to know that he changed my life And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But before I do, to the governor and to the mayor here, I like how you handled the city and the state when ICE came in here. Thank you. Thank you so very much. But I know how you knew how to do it.
Always classy, Maxine, always classy. The Jackson family responded directly to it. Notice the reaction from Al Sharpton. Looks a little uncomfortable.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people. And it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson was. Our message has already been delivered today. I can see it all over my mother's face.
All over social media, you can see a lot of people responding to this as well. They see it for what it is. Bunch of Democratic Party elites taking cheap shots during the worst time imaginable for a family, when they're saying goodbye to a loved one. And all they ask is that you not make it about that. Make it about him, because it's remembering him. It's not about helping your party. You know, Reverend Jesse Jackson was an anti-establishment person. You heard his son say he had a tense relationship with any of y'all. And these presidents didn't even know him. You see Al sit his ass down? Hope he felt shame, but I doubt if he's even capable of feeling shame at this point. He's been peddling and grifting so long, it's just second nature. You know, I know that Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. was not an establishment person because I'm proud to say he started following me back when this was Twitter. I looked up one day and I said, wow, Jesse Jackson Sr. is following me? Now, I can tell you for sure that Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Maxine Waters, none of them follow me. He still follows me to this day. That's how I know that Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. was not an establishment creature, because there's no way he'd be associated with people like me calling out the establishment if he was a kiss ass, if he was a go along, get along, if he was a ride with the Democratic Party or a ride with the Republican Party. The biggest disappointment about all of this, it was a request from the family. Let's not make this about politics. Let's make this about our dad, about our loved one. These people all refused to do so. They went against the wishes of the family. They got caught out by it. And we still have a number of Black Americans defending them for going against the wishes of the family. I want you to understand, once and for all, if you don't understand anything else, Black interest and Democratic Party interest are not the same thing. Fighting for working people, people that don't have trust accounts, people that if they didn't work for a month might be living outdoors. Fighting for those people has nothing to do with a political party. It has to do with those people. You understand? When you're backing the actions, the bad actions, The unethical actions of Kamala Harris, Al Sharpton, Maxine Waters, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton. You're not backing the best interests of Black America. You're backing the corrupt business and interests of the Democratic Party. Those things are not the same. You need to understand that the Democratic Party is not a party for Black people. It's a party that lies to Black people, for white people, and for corporations. That is not the same thing. Stop clapping for your own demise. Stop supporting the very people whose job is to be anti-you. Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. earned the right. He earned the respect to be, for a moment of reflection about his life, not about Trump, who was a friend of his, but to make it about Trump, to make it about ICE, to make it about Kamala losing an election. Damn. If you don't see that as self-serving, egotistical, depraved actions, I don't know what is. If you can't see that, Trump has only been a politician for 10 years. You do understand that, right? We should honor Reverend Jesse Jackson's legacy of activism, not lining up for political parties, but lining up for the people. No matter what craziness you on, if you ain't willing to call out the Democrats, you ain't calling out nothing. And for the record, there are a lot of people masquerading like they're fighting for working people. They're fighting for Black Americans. They're fighting for people who live paycheck to paycheck, or people who don't have trust accounts. They're fighting for us, the 99%, and all that nonsense. But you know what? When I look at those media people, and I'm talking about the media people, when I'm looking at those commentators, when I'm looking at those anchors, those reporters, guess what I'm not seeing? I'm not seeing them have the guts to make a video like this calling out Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Al Sharpton, and Maxine Waters. They too afraid to say something now. They are quiet. I'm talking about all of you. I'm talking about those with podcasts. This week, are they going to call out with the donkey of the day, Charlemagne? Are you going to give that to these presidents and your friend Kamala, who used the death of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. to promote her dumbass book? Are you going to call that out? If you don't call that out, you should give yourself donkey of the day, sir. Rolling. Are you going to roll up and call out this? What they did to tarnish Jesse Jackson Sr.'s legacy, his homegoing, with their own self-serving interest? You're not going to call that out, huh? Gonna be quiet, huh? Native Pod people, Angela Rye, Amanda Seals. Maybe Amanda might. She might. Amanda, you gonna call it out? You gonna speak up? You gonna make it known that this was below the belt, that this was low, lame, selfish? I don't think they are, fam. Jesse Jackson Sr. was a trailblazer. He challenged both parties. He ran as a Democrat because that made sense when he ran. That doesn't mean he was a vote blue anywho Democrat. He was independent. He welcomed conservatives and liberals and progressives and everything in between. We should honor that legacy, move beyond parties, and worry about bodies, because everybody's somebody. That's the way Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. saw it. So if you really want to honor his legacy on the day of his homegoing, it should be about that. But if it's about that, it might not help your party. And at the end of the day, that's why they showed up. Let me know what you think about this video. Put it in the comments section. Call out corruption. Call out shameless promotion, self-promotion, wherever you see it. Call out those people that pretend to fight for us, who really fight for their party or their own self-interest. Stay courageous, stay bold, but most of all, stay dangerous. I'm Tim Black. And this is the most dangerous show in America.